What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video of the Point After Podcast. Here today discussing the 2021 Big 12 rematch, Big 12 championship rematch between Oklahoma State and Baylor, taking place in Waco. I cannot wait to watch this game on Saturday. It is a 2:30 p.m. kickoff, I think on the ABC or Fox. I don't know which one, but Baylor is a 2.5 point favorite. Baylor is 66% predicted to win according to ESPN. Guys, I'll just give you my prediction straight up. I don't think Baylor's going to win this football game. And I got a couple reasons behind that. It mostly plays into the fact if you're a subscriber on this channel, then you know probably what I'm about to say here. It's revenge season, guys. If it's a close football game, and Baylor's already lost a revenge game this year against BYU, and I'm telling you, when I watched that game, I was not impressed with BYU's passing performance, and yet that's how they beat Baylor. Baylor has a good front seven. They do. I've had Baylor fans come up my throat before, and if you're back, thank you for coming back. I hope you hit that subscribe button this time. But, again, it's just I'm not sold on Baylor yet. Now, I'm really not sold on Oklahoma State either. I'm really just going in on the fact that Oklahoma State has a lot of pissed offness about how the Big 12 championship went last year. You saw how pissed off BYU fans or how BYU players were, and that BYU played the best game they're going to play all year against you. If you're a Baylor fan, you're about to get that same out of Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's number 9 in the country, guys. I disregard the AP poll. I have no enjoyment in it. I don't think they're accurate at all. But Oklahoma State's still a good football team. They're rushing for 163 yards per game. They're throwing for 350. Spencer Sanders is 62 for 95, 916 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Have they played anybody? Not really. They've played at home every week. This is their first true road game, but I'm not really concerned with Oklahoma State being able to perform because they're going to be so pissed off, like I said, about how last year's Big 12 championship game finished. You're going to get the fire out of Oklahoma State. They're going to give you everything they've got until there's nothing left in them to think. I'm already looking at taking TCU against Oklahoma State next week, regardless of the TCU-Oklahoma game. Win or lose, because Oklahoma State's giving you everything you have this week if you're Baylor. And TCU, they're in a good spot to upset Oklahoma State next week. Oklahoma State converting 39% on third down, only allowing their opponents to convert on 23%. Flip side of that, Baylor's converting on 47%. It's 33% allowing third down defense. If Oklahoma State can make this thing a shootout, I think you have the better quarterback. If you can convert on third down, keep the ball in your hands, you have a pretty decent run game. You have Spencer Sanders who can run. Ben Chapin's more of a passing guy from what I've seen so far. He can run, but I think he's more comfortable in the pocket and just letting loose. He's 69 for 100, almost 70% completion percentage. Drive efficiency, though, Oklahoma State's number 24, Baylor's number 12. I'm purely going off of this where that Baylor-BYU game to me, that's the similar situation you're going to get here with Oklahoma State because, again, it is revenge season. That's Josh Pate has the Every Given Saturday tour. I'm going with the revenge season tour. That's why I picked to go to Clemson versus NC State this year, and that game is this Saturday. So, just looking at the stats, I see why Baylor is favorite. They're basically telling you if it was a neutral site, this game would be even across the board. Oklahoma State may even be favored. If it was in Bedlam, Oklahoma State would probably be favored by a point or so. I haven't seen enough out of Baylor this year to go and say, hey, they're going to win this game. I'm more going off of if Oklahoma State wins it, it's going to be a one-score football game. This is going to be very, very close. This is going to be a game down to the wire. I think it could be a shootout. Over-under set at 55. I like the over in this because I think Oklahoma State, if they are able to score a lot of points, they're going to hang 50 or 60 on you and not feel bad about it. They're averaging 51% or 51 points per game, almost 52 already. Baylor, again, they haven't showed me enough this year to say, okay, we're real deal. We're Big 12 champions. Now, you're playing in a conference where, if I look at it right now, Kansas is number 1 for the second week in a row. Kansas State just beat Oklahoma, who I thought was a better football team. Texas just lost to Texas Tech. West Virginia, I think they are 0-1 as well. They lost to Kansas. Baylor, you're undefeated in conference play. You just beat Iowa State. Iowa State, not a great football team. I'm sorry to say that. They're good. They're okay. They're not as good as they were last year. Oklahoma State, this is your first in Big 12. This is your first game in Big 12 play in 2022. I'm going with Oklahoma State in that. I think it's a one-possession game. I think it's very close. I think this is a bounce the ball type of game. I think this is a force an extra turnover. Get a muffed punt that you're able to recover. I don't really consider that a turnover. Force Chapin to throw an interception. If you're Baylor, do the same thing. Force a bunch of 3-and-outs on Oklahoma State. Throw Oklahoma State off rhythm. They've put up 51 points per game. Get that offense off sync, and you should have some success. Again, I'm taking Oklahoma State. I think this is a really, really close game. Baylor fans, I'm sorry. I know I'm 1-0 picking against you already. I'm hoping to go 2-0, but I need to see something out of Baylor. I need to see something out of Oklahoma State. It's really hard for me to truly make a prediction in this game. Baylor's played a really good team, a top 25 team in BYU, and lost in a game where they just did not look that impressive. I'm sorry, but I wasn't impressed with Baylor in that football game. BYU should have beat you 3 times in that game. Iowa State, again, I'm not really that impressed with Iowa State, so I don't consider that a big win. You did go on the road. Congrats. You won by 7. Again, you played really well. Chapin, 19 for 26, 3 touchdowns. But you let Iowa State score twice in the so obviously it was more of a 31-21 game. I didn't know when that last touchdown was. I had to go back and look. But Iowa State turned the ball over a lot. I know they had at least 2 interceptions. If you can do that again with Spencer Sanders, you're going to be in good possession to win this football game. Problem is, Spencer Sanders only turned the ball over 1 time all year. So, if Baylor and you want to win, you're going to force turnovers, and you're going to have to keep Oklahoma State's offense off the field. If you're Oklahoma State, run it up, baby. I don't think Baylor can keep track with you. I'm going with Oklahoma State in the upset. But again, I think this is a one-possession bounce the ball kind of game where Baylor very well could win this football game. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know in the comments section if you agree. If you don't, I know Baylor fans will let me know if they do not. But thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're very, very close to 200, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the comments section. And again, next Monday as we talk about Oklahoma State and TCU. And I don't know who Baylor has next, but I'm sure they will end up back on the slate as well.